Welcome back to Breakfast Television. Back in studio now with Dr. Don MacDonald from Southside Chiropractic. Welcome back.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, listen, I was just out ice carving. It's a thrill, and it's so exciting. But you're benched over, you're crouched over, you're kneeling, and I can imagine how these guys that are working down carving at the legislature for hours on end could develop some real back problems. Unbelievable.
Totally.
And of course, shoveling and putting up Christmas lights and carrying trees and all these things. It seems to be the season for back injuries.
It is. And what I wanted to talk to you today was a lot of times people will bring me in and ask me how to do proper lifting or how to do proper shoveling. But I just want to talk about how's your spine in the first place.
Okay.
And when you have stress on your body, how does it affect your nervous system? So maybe I'll talk about the nervous system now, and then we'll go and do some exercises in the second segment.
If you're talking about stress, I mean, it's the season for that, too.
It is the season for Christmas.
As much as we try to avoid it.
It seems like the only holiday throughout the year where people actually get worse on holidays. Usually have patients that get better on holidays. Sometimes Christmas they get worse on holidays.
Well, you do so much running around. Yeah,
yes.
No kidding.
So what I wanted to talk about was the nervous system. And the nervous system can be in one of two states. It can be in what's called a sympathetic state, which is fight or flight. And the next thing is going to be what's called a parasympathetic state, which is more relaxed, healing, all that kind of stuff. What happens is your body can be in only one of these two states at a time.
Okay.
Now, what happens is both are very beneficial. So, for example, if there's a grizzly bear in front of you, you would be in what's called a sympathetic state.
And I'd be in a number of states. Yeah.
and there's a few things that's going to happen. If you're in a sympathetic state, what do you think you should do for your heart rate? Should you increase it?
Well, I would imagine if a grizzly's in front of me, my heart's going to be pounding.
Exactly.
So I'm going to try to calm it down.
You betcha.
Okay.
So your heart rate's going to go up, and then what happens is your breathing rate's going to go up. Mm-hmm. And what also is going to happen is that all the blood is going to go from your internal organs all out to your extremities, right? Your immune system is going to shut down, and then your body's also going to release cortisol, which is a hormone that breaks down tissues to create energy.
Okay, so these are all sort of physiological reactions to a high amount of stress.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now what happens then is that typically we would run or we do activity, which means our body would move. There would be signals from our body, especially in our spine, and if we have proper movement in our spine, they would go up into our brain, shut the stress response off, and then what would happen is we go back to parasympathetic. So I don't know if you've ever had an animal like a cat or a dog and they've been kind of pent up in the house all day, and then you come home and then they run around like a maniac.
Sure.
And then the next thing you know, they're sleeping.
Yeah.
Right? That is what we need to do. What's the problem with us right now is that we're in sympathetic dominance all the time.
You mean go,
yes,
in layman's terms.
Exactly. And what we should be is we should be parasympathetic dominant, which means we should be in a relaxed state most of the time, and then periodically get into that fight or flight.
So this is the type of thing where you're talking about decreasing stress on a level where it would be everything from your breathing and your heart rate, and all of this would be impacting how your back is feeling.
You bet. And the better that your back moves, and the more that you move, the more that you shut off your stress response.
Okay.
So how much time we got?
Well, how much time do we have? We have about a minute left in this segment, and then we'll have a whole other segment.
Okay, because the one main thing I wanted to do is that if you have a stress, if you have an action that corresponds with that stress, it shuts off and it's done.
Okay, so this is, I think that everyone here that has a partner at home is thinking, so does this mean I can tell my partner that their lower back will get better by blowing off steam and relieving stress by shoveling?
Well, if you do it correctly.
There you go. Okay, good stuff. So what would be some other suggestions that you would be talking about? Just going out and getting active, going for a walk, going for a run, all of these normal types of activities?
You bet. And what we'd want to do is we want to do some strengthening activities as well. What typically happens is when you're in fight or flight, your body goes into this posture. So that means your pecs get tight, your hip flexor gets tight, and your hamstrings get really tight. What we really want to do is to counterbalance that. So we want to strengthen our quads, we want to strengthen our glutes, and we want to strengthen our back. So we want to do a lot of pulling exercises, a lot of squatting exercises, and those things will also help to strengthen the extensor muscles, which extend us out like this, rather than being like in the fetal position like this, which is stress.
Okay, so some tools to drop stress levels during the holidays with Dr. Don MacDonald. When we come back, more Breakfast Television right after this. Welcome back to Breakfast Television. You know, Dr. Don MacDonald from Southside Chiropractic. Every time you come in, I mean to ask you, would it harm my back if I got some elevator shoes or some platform shoes so I didn't feel so short around you every time?
No, but if you stood up straight, that would be good.
Yeah, what people at home don't know is that you're only 5'4", which is really crazy, astounding how small I am. But we got some tools for coping with stress over the holidays, and you have some very interesting information on how stress in your mind can translate to stress on your body and pain in your back.
Yes, and I got an interesting little test that we can have everybody even do at home.
Okay.
It's really fun. What you do is you basically put your hands straight out in front of you.
All right, everybody join us.
And then to everybody at home, you put your hands out in front of you. You'll keep your eye closed, okay. And I'll just explain what we're going to do. Is you're going to stomp about this fast with your eyes closed.
This is a prank. I'm going to wind up stomping with my eyes closed.
Just wait. Don't get tired. Just wait.
Okay.
So we're going to do it for about 30 seconds, and there's a few things that are going to happen. If you're in really good shape, you're going to stay in the same spot.
Yeah.
If you're not in good shape, you're going to either move forward or rotate to the side. So
okay.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to have you.
All right, Nelson, let's get some circus music ready.
Yes.
Are we good to go?
So arms right out here, and about 20 seconds or so. So close your eyes.
Oh, close my eyes.
And just go ahead and stomp.
Okay. Are you okay?
Yeah, just keep going.
Now, should I be trying to focus on staying in one place, or?
Yep.
You sort of like let your subconscious handle it. How am I doing so far?
Not too bad.
And you were saying that this is a way to tell if you're healthy or not. That seems like I'd like some options in between.
Okay, you can stop. As you see, you totally rotated this way.
I did?
Yes, you totally did. So what this will tell us, there's two things will happen. If you start to move forward, that means that you're in an anterior posture. So that means all day you're walking around like this, which is horrible for your back. And then another thing happens, if you start to twist more to the one side, that means that your muscles are pulling harder to one side than the other. So if you're doing this test and you're totally rotating to one side and then you're going to go out and shovel, you want to be very careful because you're not symmetrical in your spine.
So my little experiment here that you took me through displayed that I've got something going on.
Yeah, and if we were to go down your spine and feel down this side, we'd find a lot more tension on the right side of your spine than the left. That's why when you're closed, it ends up pulling you off to the one side.
It's like a car that needs a steering alignment.
Totally.
Okay.
And so then what happens if you go out, I'll just grab this, and if in general, and I do corporate wellness talks a lot to different companies, and it was funny, I did that talk and everybody was on the phone, and everybody turned to the same way that they put their arm on the phone. Like it was crazy, like every single person went the other way.
Wow.
So if I'm turned to this side, and I'm exaggerating, and then I start going and I start shoveling, I'm way more likely to be injured than if I'm nice and perfectly balanced before I even go out. That's why having proper spine alignment actually is preventative in the first place.
Okay, so you know that from what I displayed here that I've got something going on the right side of my back. So how do I want to approach shoveling, for example? Do I change the way that I'm shoveling?
Well, you'd want to be really careful. If you do turn off to the one side, you should probably get your spine checked.
Right.
But if you don't get your spine checked, what you got to do is be really careful when you're shoveling. So a couple things. If your spine's unstable or pulling to one side, you want to make sure you stay warm. So, for example, you went out and cutting all the ice there.
Yeah.
If you are cold and over a period of time hanging over, you greatly increase your chances of hurting yourself. I would say even in the summer, for example, people who golf, they never really get hurt when it's super hot out. It's only when it's cold. So if you don't wear enough clothes, you're going to get super tight, which is going to guard. And then if you already have asymmetry in your spine, that just doubles your chances. Another thing, too, quickly, is when you're shoveling, a lot of times people will quickly run out because they're just going to work, so they don't wear hardly any clothes. And I was joking around earlier how they'll do the run down the sidewalk thing, and then all of a sudden catch a thing on the sidewalk.
Catch the groove.
The groove, and then hurt themselves. Another thing is they do a lot of twisting. And twisting, our spine is really weak. Our spine's super strong when we stay straight ahead, but it's super weak when we twist. So when we're going straight along, we want to keep our body nice and straight, and you want to basically shovel like this, not like the big Hail Mary shovels.
Now, I've noticed also that this is a bit of a different look with the shaft of this shovel as opposed to the sort of standard straight one. Does that have anything to do with the ergonomics of it?
That's a huge amount, because if I'm here, if you look at my body posture, I'm holding onto the shovel, it's on the ground, and I'm tall. So for you, it'd even be better. Your arm would even be up. So you can shovel like this. If this is straight, now my hand is down here, now I'm in this posture.
You're already crouched, exactly.
And I'm putting tons of pressure on my low back. So when I'm going down, that's why a lot of people find it that these are way better than the ones with the straight handle.
And I would imagine you talk about staying warm, warming up is probably another part of it, whether it's even just, a couple of minutes of basic stretching?
Yes, and one of the quick exercises I'll show you that'll help to warm you up really fast is you basically will do a squat. So you can take your arms out to the side, like this, and then what you're going to do is keep the weight on your heels, spread your legs, and as you go down to about 90 degrees if you can, put these right above your head, and then right back up. And do about 20 of those.
Feels like Tai Chi.
Yeah,
I like it.
But the thing is this is a really fast way to warm up your body.
Okay.
So if you do that about 20 times, then put on lots of good clothing, and then go out there and don't twist and not do the sprinting down the sidewalk. You'll be doing good.
You're a good man, Dr. Don. Thanks so much for being with us. And hey, thanks for bringing along a couple of copies of Tired of Being Sick and Tired. Of course, you're a contributing author to this project. Yes. We've got 2 for giveaway to our friends at home. So why don't we take the first 2 emailers through right now, breakfasttelevision.ca, connect with BT. If you're tired of being sick and tired, we've got the book for you. Thanks so much, Dr. Don. When we come back, we'll see how that ice carving's turned out now that I've handed it off to the pro. More Breakfast Television right after this.